It's the grandson of Right Thought. When you're dealing with people around you that you say you love, are you dealing with them as if you may not see them again? Are you dealing with them in the perpetual now when you deal with them? Or are you dealing with them like, oh, I'll see them again next week, or I'll see them tomorrow, or I'll see them, next month, so I'll deal with it then. I'll talk to them about it then. Or are you taking advantage of the now when you're dealing with them? If you say you love them. I spoke to my nephew a few days ago. He's lost his father unexpectedly. His father just died in his bed. And my nephew was telling me about how he didn't really get closure of a lot of things that he would like to have gotten closure about. And how the last thing that he said to his father before he left was, I'll see you tomorrow. And he didn't see him again. Well, he did see him again. The next time he saw him, he saw him as a dead man. And so, all of you today, are you considering that when you deal with somebody? Are you just taking it for granted that you're going to see them again? That you're going to have that opportunity? Y'all all know the saying, tomorrow is not promised. So we have today. Carpe diem, right? Seize the day. Because that's all you have. Y'all all should understand that, right? The now is all you have. Right this moment is all that you have available to you. So now is the time for salvation. Now is the time for rejoicing. Now is the time for loving. Now is the time for crying. Now is the time for all of the things under the sun. It's constantly now. There's nothing new happening. It's always happening all at once. So you have to see through the veil. You have to be able to see through the veil and see down to the truth. What is it you really desire when you're dealing with this person? Is it closure? Is it questions that you have to ask them that you're just afraid to ask? Well, then go ahead and ask. Let perfect love cast out your fear. Love them perfectly. And perfectly is unconditionally, freely loving. It is written that it's easy to love someone who loves you. It's not hard to do that. It's very easy to love people who love you. But it's difficult to love people who don't love you. And so that's what we have to love perfectly and unconditionally. That's how we prove that we're loving people. Is because even when we're rejected, despised, we continue to love our enemies despite it. See, people think that you're not loving your enemy when you're telling your enemy the truth. No, that is loving them. See, because that's giving them a chance of repentance. You see? If a person is in wickedness, and let's say they're ignorantly in it, they didn't know the truth, they didn't hear the truth. Now they're hearing the truth, they have a chance. But that's constantly happening in the eternal now. You who are listening to this video are listening to this video right now, whether you're listening to it today, January 18th, 2021, or you're listening to it March 2nd, 2021. It's now. You see? It's happening right now. So the same thing goes for your relationships when you're dealing with people. That's why the Most High said, deal with your disagreements with your brother before you come and pray to me. Go and make it right with your brother first. Whatever you have aught with him, or whatever disagreements that you have with him, work it out with your brother and then come back and come pray to me. I'll hear your prayer then. You see? We can't take it for granted anymore, guys. We can't take his grace for granted that sin may abound. You see? That we can just do more wickedness because we've been given this grace and this so-called time. It's just grace. That's all time. This time is grace. He's giving grace for people to come back to him, to the truth. And he's extended his grace to everybody. So then in your life, have you done the same? Have you extended your grace and been rejected? Just like Yahusha did, he extended his love and was rejected. Extended his grace and was rejected. The Son of Man will be rejected. You see? But that doesn't mean that he didn't extend it. So the same thing goes for you. You extend it to these people in your life that you say you love. Despite whether they love you, despite whether they're giving you love, it's you love them. So are you extending that love to them, whether they will receive it or not? A lot of times we don't extend it because we don't believe it will be received. Well, it's not up to us whether it be received or not. It's up to that other person, but it's our job to just extend it to them. Like I said, this world doesn't understand love. It doesn't comprehend it. The world doesn't. But if you are not of this world and you've been pulled out of this world, then you should be able to comprehend love when you see it. You see? If a baby is going to put their hand into a fire, some fire, with the parent, and their hand is about to go right into the fire, would the parent just go, hey, little Johnny, get your hand out of the fire? Or would they go, hey? Would they scream? Snatch the baby's hand, yank the baby back even, snatch the baby away from the fire, and reprimand the baby? Don't put your hand in there, that's going to burn you, going to hurt. Well, that's love that caused you to do that. So the same goes for you when you are teaching people that are in this world. They're walking right to the fire and you're going, hey, what are you doing? Don't put your hand in there. Don't go in there. And they go, hey, that's not love. You're not letting me do what I want to do. Well, let them walk on in the fire then at that point. But you're going to yell, you're going to scream, you're going to try to snatch them out of the fire, and they're not going to perceive that as love. They're going to say, hey, I wanted to touch the pretty thing right there. You're like, you don't understand, it's going to burn you. But what happened in your life? Were there times when Abba tried to pull you away from the fire? And you walked on in it, through it anyway? Said, Abba, let me go. I want to have fun. I want to touch this pretty thing. Oh, shit. It burned you. Burnt your ass up. But you had to learn some of those lessons the hard way. Well, same goes for other people. You see? So all you can do is seize the day. Take advantage of the day and the opportunity to love, to present it to them. Whatever it is, so that you don't have this not having closure and all the other. You'll have closure even if you're not around them. If this person passes away while you're not around them, you'll still have closure because you'll know within your heart that you extended true love to them and you were rejected by them. So you have closure. I did what I was supposed to do. Whether it be your mother, your brother, your spouse, your children even. I did the best that I could, and I've been thrust out of that situation. Sometimes that's just what happens to you. You will be thrust out, guys. Some of you parents, listen, you will be thrust out of your children's lives. No matter how hard you try to hang on to it, you will be thrust out of it because there's a dividing sword that's dividing things. Spouses, some of you will just be thrust out. No matter how much you try to tell her you love her, sister, no matter how much you try to tell him you love him, no matter how good behavior you put on, no matter how faithful you are, you are going to be thrust out of that relationship. The dividing sword is going to thrust you out. Some of it's going to be your mother, your father. You're going to go to your parents and you're going to be thrust out of a relationship with them. They're not going to understand what you're talking about, and vice versa. You're not going to understand what they're talking about. You're going to be like, why are you still talking about this when this is going on? And they don't understand it. So you've tried to love them. You've tried to show them the truth and they rejected you. So now if you go on through life and they pass away, your mother, your father, even your child, they pass on, you have closure. I know I extended the truth and love to them, and they rejected it. So they rejected he who sent me. Abba Yah. If they reject the truth, guys, it doesn't matter if it's what they're seeing in their 3D world. If they don't accept the truth of what they're looking at, then they don't accept Abba Yah. Because they don't accept truth. And Abba Yah resides in truth and not in lies. So then they can't accept him. So then they reject him. They reject you. You see? And when someone rejects you, there's nothing you can do to try to convince them that they can't reject you. It's done. So the best that we do is we seize the day. Like I said, we take advantage of the opportunity when it presents itself. Because that's all we have is now. Silawam Yisrael.